Morning, guys. How's everybody doing? I hope you've had a nice morning so far. So I've had a couple of requests today to do some strength work, some balance work, a little bit of abdominal work as well. So we're going to go through a bit of a sun salutation sequence, and I will throw various bits in as we go through. Obviously, if you're quite new to yoga, just work at your own pace. If there's any poses that we're doing that you don't like the look of, then miss them out. You can always send me messages and I'll send you advice via the messages. But basically, it shouldn't be painful. Push yourself to the point where it feels challenging, but never to the point where it feels painful. And listen to your own body. Yeah, if you need to come out of a pose before I cue you out of a pose, then please feel free to do so. Also, make sure that you've got a drink of water nearby. Take little rests whenever you need to. This session will be about an hour long. But if you do need to stop and take a breather and have a drink, then please feel free to stop at any point. But we're going to start from a recline position. So come down onto your back. Just hug your knees up towards you. Rest your head. Broaden your shoulders. And just feel the back body connect with the floor for a moment. So you want to feel your body get heavier. Feel yourself sinking into the mat beneath you. Notice what your breathing feels like. Close your eyes. And then when you're ready, just take a breath in. And as you exhale, you're just going to let your arms and legs drop to the ground. Now, you can either keep your knees bent, feet planted, a little bit easier on your lower back. Or if it feels comfortable, you're going to straighten your legs all the way to the bottom of your mat and just shake them loose. Give them a bit of a bounce. Try and release any tension from your knee joints, your thighs. If you're just shaking your muscles off your bones. Okay, shrug your shoulders away from your ears. Broaden through your upper back. Hands can be either alongside the body, or if it helps, you're going to place them on the body to help with your breathing. So that might be placing the hands around the pelvic belly area, the solar plexus, or even just placing one hand onto the breastplate so that you try not to move into this upper body area. We want to draw that breath lower down. But just take a few breaths just to notice how your breathing is this morning, whether it's quite short and shallow, or whether you're breathing nice, big, steady breaths. Breathe through the nose or the mouth, whatever feels comfortable for you. But start to feel that each breath is just going to grow. So the inhale is a little bit bigger. The pause is a little bigger. We're trying to exhale fully and then just pause at the end of that exhale. And we'll just take a minute. So you're visualizing as you inhale, you're kind of lifting your energy levels, flooding the body with loads of oxygen. As you exhale, you're just getting that sense of releasing any tension that might be self-created. You know, we kind of get stressed or we've been rushing around. Or if you've just been in bad posture this morning, you might already have started to tighten up around your neck and shoulders. So feel yourself just melt on your exhale. Okay, now on your next breath, we're just going to gently start to stretch the body out. So reach the arms back, as far back as they'll go. Push out through the heels. Stretch your legs to the bottom of the mat. And just feel that you're increasing the distance between your ribs and your pelvis. We're trying to stretch through our waist, our belly, reaching up through our shoulders, pushing out and down through our hips. Okay, and then just relax the body. Arms are just going to rest. Walk your feet, bring the feet halfway up, but step them quite wide. And just wiggle your toes for a moment. So spread the toes out to start, just create space. And then see if you can gently lift and lower. So we're just mobilising our toe joints. We will be doing a bit of sun salutations, obviously down facing dog, plank pose. They're poses where, we're putting a bit of pressure into the foot, the ankle joints and the toe joints. So it's sometimes nice to just wake them up, just mobilise them a little bit first. Okay, now if this feels okay, you're going to go from lifting and lowering gently to lifting and then scrunching your toes in. So we're kind of spreading them out and then scrunching them up. So we're just activating the muscles through the feet, the arches of the feet, the tops of the feet. Okay, and then just relax, keep the toes soft, spread the weight evenly from inner edge to outer edge of each foot. Bring your focus up towards your hips now, your pelvic girdle, and just start your hip mobility. So we're just going to rock and roll forwards and back, nice and easy. Squeezing and releasing your bum muscles, your glutes, so as if you're kind of firing them up, switching them on and off. Okay, and then we're going to start to just move this all the way up and down the spine. We'll slow it down a little bit. If it's comfortable, we're going to add the shoulders in. So as we start to roll up the spine, we're going to sweep the arms up and just let them drop behind you. Now you might need to take them wider to start with, that's absolutely fine, but just let them drop to the floor. And then as you roll through the spine back to the ground, the arms come over, back to the hips. And we're just going to do 5 or 6 of these, just working at your own pace. Noticing what you're feeling as you're lifting up. You're probably going to feel a bit of a stretch because we're opening the front line of the body, hips, thighs, abs, chest. You're going to feel this kind of push as those muscles underneath create the movement. So hamstrings, glutes, mid-back muscles. But you try to increase the range each time. We're trying to lift a little bit higher. We're trying to tip out the back of our bucket a little bit deeper. If it feels really easy, come a little closer with the feet. Rock up to tiptoes. Get that extra lift. Okay, so just doing a couple more of these. Trying to keep your knees fairly level so they're not tipping left or right, in or out. As we come up this time, we're going to hold the stretch. So we raise the hips, we squeeze the glutes, shoulders tuck under to support the upper body. Check that your neck is comfortable. If it feels okay, you can keep your arms just reaching back, push through the feet. If you prefer, you can support hands under hips, or you can reach to grab hold of your ankles. Okay, come out slow, so lower all the way back to the ground. As soon as your lower back hits the floor, hug your right knee up into your chest and just stretch your left leg out. Give it a bit of a shake. Now just holding on to this right leg, feel that your back is nice and supported, so we just feel like we're kind of sinking into the floor. But we're going to just loosen our ankle, just mobilise our ankle joint. So obviously we'll be doing a little bit of standing balance work today, and it does really help if your ankle's a bit looser, a bit more mobilised. Okay, and then moving the foot forwards and backwards. Hold the back of the thigh. Work through the knee joint, do some with your toes pointed up. And then push the heel up. Okay, holding the knee and just do a little circular motion. So we're just rolling the knee out and around. Change the direction. And then give it another hug up into the armpit. Really feel that you're trying to draw it as deep as you comfortably can. Left leg is still stretching down and away from you. We're going to change sides. So pull your left leg up first, grab hold of it. Right leg is going to flop down, shake it loose. Just gently support this knee, easing it into the shoulder, but working on your ankle joint to begin with. So circles, slow and steady, both directions. Forwards and back, point and flex the foot. Okay, and then hold the back of the thigh and just bend and extend through the knee. Okay, push the heel up, change the ankle. Okay, hold the top of the knee, start to do a little circular motion, just working into the hip, the groin area. Okay, both directions. Okay, and then plant the feet together, open the arms, start to roll both legs from left to right. So we're just mobilising through your lower back, trying to keep the upper back fairly flat, fairly close to the ground. Knees and feet are touching as we do this. Okay, just keep that moving a couple more times. And then keep the legs tipping gently over to your left side. Just reach your right arm up to the ceiling. Okay, twist the hand and wrist so your thumb is pointing towards the bottom of your mat and your palm is facing to the right side from where you are. And we're just going to do a little figure of 8 mobiliser on our shoulder. So you imagine it's a figure of 8 shape on the ceiling, it's horizontal, it's on its side, and we're just tracing around the back of that shape with the back of our hand. Okay, and you can start this movement quite small, so it's just above the chest. If it feels okay, you're going to play with your range. Start to swoop it all the way out and around. Find that current range in your shoulder and your chest, not forcing it. Okay, and then changing sides. So right arm's just going to drop out. Legs come over to the right side, upper back trying to flatten it to the floor. So we reach our left hand up, but we tip it. So the thumb points to the bottom of your mat, the back of your hand is facing your right side, palm facing your left side, and we start to swoop around our shape. Okay, so just keeping that movement going, doing a few more. Okay, come back to centre. Right, draw the legs back up, hug the knees, just roll into the lower back, a few little circles. And then step your feet down, but step them out wide and press your knees in. Okay, now just have your arms alongside with your elbows bent and just loosen out your hands and your wrist joints. So rolling, circling, twisting and folding the hands forwards and back. Just find or just play with whatever movement you've got here. Yeah, again, our wrists are quite a mobile joint designed for lots of directions of movements. And it's important that we do go through that full range, that we don't just use our hands in forwards and back flexion, extension. So twisting and turning, waving. Okay, give your fingers a good wiggle. And then reach the arms up, clasp the hands together, push the knuckles up. So you're peeling your upper back, your shoulder blades slightly off the ground. Your head stays on the floor though. Just circle. Work the space between your shoulder blades. Give them a bit of a massage. It should feel quite nice to do, but also it stimulates the nerve receptors in these muscles that can be a bit switched off. Just wakes them up a little bit, gets them firing. Okay, change the direction. Come back to centre and roll straight across your shoulders from right to left. Roll with the head. Keep the lower body fairly still if you can, and keep your elbows straight if you can, if it's comfortable. Okay, come back to centre, just drop your arms. Right, so we're going to have a go at doing bug pose to start with. So this is strength work for our deep muscles, our abdominal muscles, our core muscles. But it's also working this link between our opposite arm to leg, hip to shoulder. Quite good for coordination, motor skills as well. So obviously there's a couple of levels. If you're quite comfortable with this movement, we're going to pull the tummy in, flatten the back to the ground, and you're going to go straight-legged. Yeah, you're going to extend both legs straight up to the ceiling with a little softness in the knee. And you're going to go straight arms reaching up as well. If you're new to this, if you've got any back issues, or if you just want to take it a little easier, you're doing it with bent knees instead. But all we do alternate arm to leg. So we're going to start with our left knee and our right arm or our right hand. And we slowly reach out. We tap the left foot to the ground. We tap the right hand to the ground. And then we slowly and smoothly come back up to centre. Okay, now we're going to change the diagonal. So it'll be left hand and right leg or right foot. So we stretch out, we tap, and we come back in. And that's all there is to it. It's just alternating diagonal movement, opening out. The key is to try and do this smooth, controlled, so there's no speed, there's no momentum. We're not throwing the arms and legs around. We're placing them from one position to the other. And we're maintaining connection with the whole of our back against the floor as much as we can. So that's where your core is involved, because the weight of your leg, especially if you're doing this straight-legged, if you're not really engaging your core, as the leg goes down, your lower back's going to come up off the floor. Your pelvis is going to tip up. So you need to engage your core to maintain that contact. So just do a few more of these. You start working at your own pace. Alternate arm to leg, so what we call contralateral movement. Working our opposite diagonals. It's how we move as a human species. When we crawl, when we walk opposite arm to leg. There is another movement, ipsilateral, where we do same side, same side. And that's what we do when we first start to walk. We toddle, don't we, opposite arm to leg. But this is much more effective on the body diagonal line. It's a much more efficient form of movement for us being an upright species. It means that we're moving the body balance. There's less jarring effect. There's less kind of swaying and momentum. It just means that we create a smoother, more efficient movement, whether we're walking, running, crawling. But it's also a good way to train, the imbalance that we can sometimes get between our left and right side. We're always going to have one side that's a little bit dominant. So this just balances the two. And I'm keeping you talking now. I like to get you to do more reps. So you're probably all cursing me at home. Okay, we're going to finish off with a couple of doubles. So come back to centre. So again, either bent legs or straight legs, but slow and controlled. So we open out. Take a deep breath as you get to the ground. Exhale. And we come all the way back up. Just see if you can do that one more. So we open out. Big breath in. This time as you come up, just hug your knees. Let your back just relax. Let your tummy relax for a moment. Coming slowly up to your seated position. So if you're okay rocking, you're going to rock yourself up through your spine. If not, you're just going to tip to your right side and take your time. Come up nice and slow. Right, so from your seated position then, we're just going to come through a little bit more upper body mobility work. So straight-legged, weights on the front of the sit bones, toes are gently flexed up towards you, and we're just going to lift up through the top of the head. So use your arms just for a moment, just to try and get this real feeling of extending up through the spine. Pull your shoulders back, engage your mid-back muscles to hold you there, engage your abs, If you can, we're going to take the hands away, stay upright, but I would rather you keep them there as stabilizers, just gently resting and stay upright, than take the hands away and find that your back ends up wanting to do this. So try and keep this really tall lifted feeling. We're just going to whiz through our neck mobility. So we're dropping the head, chin to chest, and then chin to ceiling. Okay, come back to your neutral, start to rotate. So we're just twisting this from left to right. Okay, keep squeezing the shoulders back, but start to laterally flex, ear to shoulder, left to right. Okay, drop the head down and just sweep gently across, collarbone to collarbone. Okay, and then come back to center. Let your head tip over to your right side. Just roll your left shoulder, kind of shrugging, working through that range. If it feels okay, you're going to make this movement bigger. Yeah, so you're starting to bring your elbow through, really feeling it through the chest, but trying to stay upright through the spine. And then just let it drop away from you. So we're using the weight of the arm to just gently pull the shoulder a little bit further away from our ear. Should feel a nice stretch coming through this sideline. Okay, you can just hold that, breathe into it. If it's really easy, or if you just want to go a little deeper into the stretch, you can use your other arm for extra weight, but just don't pull on the head. Yeah, we're just literally resting it there. We don't want to force any of these stretches. Okay, come back to center. So rolling the shoulder, let your head tip over to your left. Nice and gentle the first couple, see how it feels. If it feels okay, you're making it bigger and bigger. Okay, and then relax the arm, just feel the weight of the arm, pull the shoulder down. If that's enough, you're just going to hold it there. If you feel you can go a little deeper, rest your left hand, your left arm, and just breathe big. So remember, always using your breath. As we inhale, it's like we're charging up our energy, we're engaging into our core. As we exhale, it's like we're pushing that release button. So you can kind of use your inhale or your exhale where it helps you. But basically, as long as you're not holding your breath, that's good. Okay, come back to center. Just shrug both shoulders back a couple of times and let your arms drop so your hands are just resting into your lap. We're going to drop the head, nose points towards the armpit. Take some nice easy breaths. Okay, changing side. Okay, come back up to your neutral. Right, bring the hands behind for a moment. I'm just going to mobilise the hips a little bit more. So we step the hands just so that they're supported. So lift the chest, lift the ribs, tuck the elbows slightly inwards. Walk your feet in. So we've got our knees bent and we're going to rock up onto the back of the heel bone and just very loosely start to roll. One leg's going to roll inwards, one leg's going to roll out. Just checking that you're not gripping your foot to the floor, because otherwise what that does, it ends up putting twist into the knee and the ankle, which we don't want. We want to try and get this movement is in the ball and socket of your hip joint. If it's super easy, you can play, step the feet wider, maybe bring them closer in. Your range might be something like this, that's fine. Remember, whatever you can currently do is going to be encouraging the body to open up a little bit. So never try and push beyond that margin when we do mobility work. You're pushing to the point where you can feel that resistance. We're not trying to force it into a huge stretch right now. Okay, and then bring your feet together. Let your knees tip outwards. So we've got this kind of little diamond shape in front of us, and our legs are just rotating externally. We've got the weight slightly to the front of the sit bones, grabbing either the tops of your shins, or if you've got good range, you're going to thread underneath your shins. We're going to lift the chest and just lean gently into it. So we've kind of feeling this outer hip and thigh coming up the back. So as I said, if this is dead easy, we're leaning the chest forwards as far as we can go, and then we can relax the head down, or you can thread your arms underneath. So we're coming a little lower, and we're using our upper arm to just gently push outwards. So we're kind of bracing out into the inner thigh. Okay, just hold it for one more good breath. And then come up slow. Stretch both legs out, shake them loose. Right, move into your box position. So sweep over onto hands and knees. We're going to come through a little bit of lunge work. So we'll add some thoracic mobility into this as well. So start from your simple box, just round and release your back. Cat and dog, so we arch on one breath, we drop and extend on the next. And again, find your pace. If you want to go a little slower than I'm going, that's absolutely fine. If you're super strong and you want to already add a bit of weight bearing into this, tuck your toes, just lift your kneecaps a couple of inches. Keep them there. We're not lifting them up and down, we're just hovering them, but then we flex and extend. Okay, now just round up and sit back into your child pose for a moment. Let your hips drop back towards your heels, reach your arms out. Okay, come back into your box. Left foot's going to step through. Plant the hands either side, and to start with, just gently rock your hips forwards and backwards. So as you're tracking your weight forwards, you want to feel that your knee sits roughly above your ankle joint. So if it's going right beyond your toes, you need to just widen out your base a little bit there. So we're getting the stretch kind of coming into our hips. We're not just loading this front knee. Now move to the inside. Squeeze that right glute, buttock muscle, push the hip down. If you're comfortable, you're going to tuck and push back through that back leg. If not, you can stay down on the lower leg, rest on the top of the foot. We're going to bring the hands a little bit wider, so we're coming out to our right side, and our outside arm, our right arm, that's going to be our support. Our left arm, to start with, just bring it up onto your left knee, your left thigh. So I'm going to show you this from a couple of different angles. So we're kind of coming to here. Back leg is either high or low. And all we're going to do is add a bit of movement. So we open out and then we thread and reach through that right armpit. Okay, so again, rotating. So we're not just moving our arm back and across. Yeah, we're actually turning the trunk of the body, trying to rotate our chest up and out, and then turning and threading underneath the armpit. Okay, and just do a few more of these. Okay, coming back to centre, changing legs. So right leg's going to step through, gently loosen, just rock the hips, roll the hips, have a little fidget here, get comfortable. Okay, and then high or low on the back leg. Bring the hands to the inside, move a little bit further out to your left. So your left arm is going to be your support, shoulder above wrist joint. Lift the chest, get that extension. Right hand's going to come up. Just find your balance first. And then once you feel comfortable, we're going to open and thread. Okay, come back to the ground. Feet come back, round up, sit back to embryo pose. So hips go to heels, we lower the head to the floor, and then we fold the arms in and just let them drape. So you're broadening across your upper back. Shoulders should feel nice and heavy. If you're not comfortable doing that, if you struggle to get to the ground, remember you can stack your arms, create a little tower, stack the hands one on top of the other, and just rest your forehead there. Okay, and then come slowly back up. Right, moving into your box position then. So we're going to come through down dog, and then we're just going to have a little play. Whew, it's all right, my cat's been in here again. I've got cat hair all over the place. We're going to have a little play, just coming through the basic sequences of our sun salutation. And then I'm going to add some strength moves in. So we'll add some big poses. We'll do some lotus, work some bow. We'll add some plank variations as well, and we'll do a little bit of balancing as well. So obviously, work at your own pace. I'm just checking that I am still actually on live. You are still in the room with me. Yes, it appears so. Grab a quick drink of water if you need one. Obviously, if you're not familiar with downward dog, I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time on the teaching points, but there is another video on my YouTube channel that's just how to do downward dog and the variations. Same with planks. So if the poses that you struggle with, you might want to skip across and watch those first, have a play with those first. But otherwise, come into your basic box position. So plant the hands, spread out, push the weight evenly from the heel of the hand through to the fingertips. Roll your shoulders back so your shoulder blades feel like they're hugging you from behind. Already start to engage, so abs are engaged. Tailbone is slightly tucked, neutral neck position. And from here, we're just going to fire up our pelvic floor as well. So we often do this in our recline position at the beginning of a class, but we're just going to do it in a different position today. So we're going to have a go doing it now in box, and then we'll try and do it when we're in our actual downward facing dog. So visualize your pelvic floor. I want you to imagine that you're pulling your pubic bone up towards your belly button. You're pulling your tailbone up towards the top of your pelvis or the small of your back, and you're trying to pull up on your sit bones, left and right side. So hold your box, but just see if you can lift and relax. As if you're pulling those four attachments, you're kind of engaging them and then relaxing them. So no one's going to see the movement here. This is deep layer work that we're doing. Yeah, it's muscles that we can't see from. They're not the superficial, the outer layers. It's the ones on the inside, but they're really important. So we're just going to see if we can do a couple more. And remember, it's exactly the same attachment points for men and women. And pelvic floor exercises are so important to do for both men and women. Lots of different factors that they can affect, lots of different issues that they can contribute towards if they're not working properly. Right, so just relax the body for a moment. So our downward dog, we've got our toes tucked. Give your toes a bit of a stretch, push back into the heels. Take your time. If you want, you're just going to take a big breath in and you're just going to push your hips straight up and back and have a little fidget, get into your downward dog shape. If you prefer, take it a little easier, lift the knees first, look through. So you're looking towards the back wall. Start to bring your tummy and ribs towards your thighs and knees as we straighten out the back. And then think about tipping out the front of your bucket so your sit bones are shooting up to the ceiling. You're pushing the backs of the knees away from you, trying to lower your heels, but don't worry if they won't go all the way down. Don't force it. And I would rather you have a little bend in the knee, but get your back a bit straighter than straighten your legs, but find that your back arches. Yeah, so try and feel that you're getting your body sorted out before your legs. And we also want to think we've got that nice firm pressure, hands and feet, even weight from left to right side. So if you are comfortable here, do your hip wiggles, do your knee bends, readjust if you need to. You've always got the option of rolling up the end of your yoga mat and holding it as a handle if you find that your hands are slipping. Or alternatively, if it's just too much on your wrist, some people it's the wrist joint that doesn't like this pose. But just hold your downward dog. So from here, see if you can do your pelvic floor again. So we're now upside down, so it's going to feel a little bit different. So you're trying to feel that you're pulling up on your tailbone. You're pulling up on your pubic bone, your sit bones, we're contracting and squeezing. Head is just hanging. So see if you can do a couple more, just squeeze and relax. Okay, and then we're going to lift the head and we're going to walk our feet towards our hands. Now, if you can do this keeping your legs straight, Brilliant. But remember, I've got quite short legs and long arms, so there is a lot of proportion that kind of affects that, whether you can do that. But once you're at the front of your mat, we're just going to hang in our forward fold. And then start to come up slowly to standing. Squeeze your bum, roll yourself up through the spine. Lift the head, lift the chest, shake everything loose. Right, and just find your mountain pose position. So we're going to take a moment at the front of our mat. We'll do a little bit of tiptoe work, and we're going to do a little bit of single leg balance work, and then we'll just start to flow through this whole sequence. So obviously, if you do need to take breathers and rest, then feel free. But take a moment in your mountain pose. Spread the weight evenly through each foot. Bucket is upright. Shoulders are relaxing back and down. Arms should feel like they're hanging alongside you, yeah, not in front of you. So if they feel like they're here, just twist them, exaggerate it, yeah, roll them back, open the chest. Hold that for a moment. And then when you let them go, hopefully they'll be a little bit more alongside the body so that we're not kind of in this rounded upper back position. Right, start to just gently shift the weight from heel to toe. So we're just coming up to tiptoes, basically, we're just rocking. But we want to feel that we're going straight up and down. We're not kind of leaning our weight forwards and back. We want this vertical plumb line from our ankles, hips, shoulders, coming out the top of our head. So we're just pushing straight up and straight down. And remember, there's a lot of balance involved, a lot of visual rather, when we're doing balance work. So find a target, especially if you're new to this. Try and fix your eyes onto something that's not moving as you lift and lower. And just take your time, don't rush it if you need to go a little. So if you need to use your arms, again, that's fine to start with. It's about building confidence, feeling safe. The more unsafe we feel, you know, if you're quite fearful of balance poses, your body's going to tense. It's what happens when we're not happy with something. Your body tightens up, doesn't it? We kind of clench everything. And that actually makes balancing harder to do. We want to feel floppy to balance properly. Okay, now hold this next one. See if you can come up to tiptoes and just hover it for a moment on the balls of the feet. And then lower down. Now we're just going to shift the weight from left to right leg. So we're kind of swaying and just feel the body weight's being poured from one leg to the other. Now keep your weight into your left leg. Relax the knee. Bucket is upright. Take your time. Right leg's going to come up in front. Knee to hip height. Lower leg is just relaxing. Ankle is soft. If that's dead easy, close your eyes. Take your visual away. Just see how it affects you. It might not affect you at all, but there's a good chance that when you close your eyes, you'll have a little bit of a wobble, and then your body should hopefully start to just settle down a little bit. Again, if you need your arms, that's absolutely fine. Focus on breathing big. Okay, and then changing sides gently. So we step the foot to the ground, shift the weight into the right leg. Take your time, left leg's going to come up. So remember, with balance poses, we always move into them slowly and controlled, don't we? Because we're being careful, but we often jump out of them. So we're trying to move out as slow and as mindfully as you move in, yeah? So we're working both phases, the inward and the outward phase, the muscles that help to move us into the pose and the muscles that help to move us out of the pose. So again, if it's easy, try closing your eyes. Whoops. Okay, and then open the eyes, slowly coming out. Shake everything loose. Right, so from the front of your mat then, I'm going to move my mat a little bit away from the radiator. Hopefully you can still see me in shot, yes. Take a big breath in, arms going to come up. Exhale, we just fold, let the body drop to the ground. Soften both knees, lift the head and chest, right foot steps back to your lunge. As far back as you can comfortably go, hold your lunge for a breath, sink your hips forwards and down. So from here, we're going to move to planks. So if you need to, you can do just a box, that's an easy version. But if you're comfortable with plank, think the front body engages. So we draw our front ribs, our breastplate, our abs. We kind of engage them to support the back body. Left leg's going to step back. Check that your shoulders are stacked above your wrist joints. Check that your neck is neutral. So we don't want to be rounding or arching. We're trying to feel that the nose is pointing to the floor. Tail is slightly tucked and pushing back through the heels, trying to push the crown of the head forwards. Hold it and breathe. Slight softness into your elbows. Shoulder blades are sliding away from your armpits. Okay, now come to the ground. Easy version, drop your knees first, just lower to the floor. Harder version, we're going to come down slow. So we squeeze the shoulders back, we tuck the elbows in, we place the body to the ground. Easy cobra first here. So point the feet to the back of your mat, squeeze your bum, push pubic bones down, come up onto your elbows. Lift up through your chest and your ribs. Just hold this for a couple of breaths. Relax the neck, find your stretch. If this is enough, you're going to carry on just doing easy cobra throughout the whole sequence every time we come through it. If not, we're going to come up using our triceps. So a bit of strength work. Hands tuck into ribs, shoulders and elbows squeeze back. Connect with the heel of your hands. So you're pushing the floor away. And even just pushing down, you should feel the back of your tricep kind of contract. And we're going to come up really slow. So pubic bone is on the floor, we're pushing down, we're squeezing the bum, and we're imagining that we're moving the floor away from us. So we're coming up super slow, either just to your cobra, or you can keep coming up to your upward facing dog. Okay, and then we're going to reverse it. We're going to lower this back to the ground. Super slow if you can. Yeah, so if you're in upward dog, drop your knees, tuck your elbows in, think elbows point back. Keep your shoulders back and down. Don't let them come up into your ears. Lower, really loading your triceps all the way to the floor. We're just going to do that once more. So take your time. Big breath in. Exhale, push up. Take another deep breath in. Exhale. Control it. All the way to the ground. Okay, this time we're going to come up through cobra and we're going to move straight up into our downward dog. So last time, push up through triceps. Once you're up into your cobra, toes are going to curl under. Big breath in, we start to pull the front body in, we push the hips up high. A little bit of hip wiggling, some knee bends. Drop your head, let it hang heavy. Okay, lift the head, look forwards, right foot steps through. One big step if you can, yeah. If you can't, if you struggle, you're going to plant your left hand, just walk the right foot through. Again, it's proportions. You've got really long legs, you've got more leg to get through, haven't you, and less space. So come through comfortably. Once you're into your right side, just let your hips sink. Okay, and we're going to come back to our forward fold. So take your time, push into your right foot, left leg comes through. Squeeze your glutes, roll up. Okay, big breath in, exhale, drop straight back down. Soften the knees, lift the chest, right leg steps back. Okay, squeeze the glutes. Now from here, low lunge, if you can, we're going to come upright. So easier, drop the back knee. Harder, keep that back leg lifted. Push through your left foot, lift the chest up. Take a deep breath in, hands are going to come together, pressing back and down. So it's almost like we're in a real low base warrior pose. There's a lot of balance going on here from left to right. Try not to hang off your hip, just so that you're pushing about an inch off that full range. Squeeze the glutes. Okay, drop back to the floor, take a big breath in, left foot steps back to plank. Okay, now from a plank, we're going to do side variation. So you have got the option of dropping your knees, makes it a little easier. Otherwise, your right hand is going to come center. We tip and we open. Left arm reaches up. Right side is pushing up through the left side. So your easy option, you've got your knees bent back. A little harder, we're going to stack the feet one on top of the other. Little harder still, we're going to lift that top leg. Okay, face the ground. Changing sides, the left hand's going to come centre. We open right, either stagger the feet one in front of the other. You can stack, if that's easy. Right leg is going to lift. Feel that you're lifting from this underside, just making sure that you've got good grip, that you're not going to slip. She says as she nearly slipped. Okay, face the ground. From here, we're going to come to the floor, so take your time. Big breath in. Exhale, come up through cobra. Downward facing dog. Hips go up high. Plant the feet, get comfortable. Okay, from our down dog, we're going to see if we can vary our base. So we're going to start by going narrow. So we stay in the shape, but we bring our feet together so they touch. And then we lift the head, just look forwards, plant your hands together so your thumbs are touching. So, and then let your head drop again. So it just makes it a little bit more of a balanced pose as well. We've got a narrower base to work from. Okay, now taking it back to your regular base, so step your hands apart, step your feet apart, lift the head, look forwards, right foot comes through, sink into your lunge. So high or low on that back leg, we're going to squeeze the glutes, come up, palms together, brace the arms in, squeeze the shoulders in, hold it and breathe. Okay, drop to the floor, look forwards, feet come together. Okay, soften the knees, come all the way up. Exhale, straight back down. Right leg steps back. Okay, big breath in, left leg steps back. Hold your plank. Okay, if you're feeling strong in your plank today, we're going to have a go at doing alternate corners. So you can go a little wider with your base. Really feel that you're lifting from underneath, so all this is supporting you. Push into your left hand, right hand is going to reach up. Come back down. Push into your right hand, left arm is going to reach up. Come back down, push into both hands, left foot, right leg's going to lift up, stretch it to the back of the room. Okay, and finally left leg, so right foot comes down, lift, push that left leg back. Okay, drop the feet, come down slowly. Fold your arms in. Let your body just drape into the ground for a moment. Give your hips a bit of a shake. So we're going to come up into locust first, which is our double leg, upper body and arms, and then we're going to come up into bow. So obviously take your time, hold these as long as you comfortably can. But we start with our locust, so hips are squared up, squeeze your bum, feet as if you've got a big football between the feet, you're just holding it in place. Take a breath, legs float. Arms start to come up, we reach the fingers back, chest starts to come up, and we're just keeping our gaze down, so we're not squeezing the back of the neck. We're trying to reach back as far as we can. If you prefer, you can clasp the hands, kind of pull the shoulders back, it's another option. Okay, and then just let everything melt for a breath. Shake your hips. Right, so come into bow. Just do a few bends first. Heel to bum. Stepping your feet maybe a little wider. Bring both legs in. Just wiggle your ankles. I find that doing all this little mobility stuff, just having a bit of a fidget first, it just means you're less likely to go into hamstring cramps. Sometimes hamstrings can cramp up in some of these big poses where we're stretching the front line. Right, so we start by reaching back. We're trying to grab hold of our trousers, our ankles, our feet. We're trying to hold quite firmly so that we can kind of lock them in place. The first move, we're going to roll our shoulders back, flex the feet so your toes point away from your body, and see if you can start lifting your upper body off the ground. Okay, shoulder blades squeeze in. Now we're going to push our feet away from our bum. So I'm pulling myself up a little bit further still. And then finally, I'm going to see if I can lift my thighs up off the floor. Okay, and just try and breathe however you can. I know it's a difficult pose to breathe in because you just feel like everything's being squashed. Again, check that you're not squashing the back of your neck. Release down, rest for a couple of breaths. Okay, moving the hands in, so we're going to come up through Cobra. So roll your shoulders back. Think triceps are helping, so we hug our elbows in, push the pubic bone to the floor, lift super slow. Coming all the way up, have a fidget, readjust your hands if you need to. Okay, so from our down dog, we're going to do wide base. So take your time, come into your regular downward dog first, just push the hips up really high. Hands are going to stay where they are. So our hands stay in our normal base. We keep our body dropping through, so we're keeping that nice, long, extended spine. But we're going to see if we can step our feet out a little wider, whether you step them out or whether you heel toe. Once you've gone out, just sharpen up your pose again. So think tip out the front of your bucket, lift your tail up to the ceiling, looking towards the floor. We're trying to imagine that I'm drawing my chest through my thighs. I'm broadening my shoulders. So I'm going to feel the stretch as well as the back line is normal, hamstrings, back line, etc. You're now going to feel it much more inner thigh, groins. Okay, start to heel toe your feet back in. Lift the head, look forwards, right foot's going to step through. Just sinking it into your lunge. Take a good breath. Left foot's going to step through. And roll yourself all the way up to standing. Shake everything out. Right, I'm going to finish with some simple standing balance. We'll just do a little 3-point move and three different directions, if you like, of balance, and then we'll finish off with one last abdominal strengthener on the ground. So take a moment, just shake out, feel that your arms and legs are floppy, loosen your hands and your wrists again. And all we're going to do a simple balance where we go from a knee lift to a straight leg press to a hamstring stretch, a quad stretch, a hip flexor stretch. Okay, harder version if you want, instead of doing a knee lift, you can go for a straight leg toe. You can go through your full warrior extend back, and you can go through your full cosmic dancer, where you tip into it. Okay, so whichever level you want, it's all still balancing. But we'll start from just a basic mountain pose, shifting your weight into your left leg. Take a deep breath in, so right leg's going to come up. So you're either just going to come up to a simple knee lift, you're just going to hold that for a moment, or you could grab the thigh, extend, or if you can reach, grab the toe, extend. Okay, just hold it and breathe. Left arm, if you don't need it, you can bring it into the small of your back. Now we're going to bring this leg down, keep it off the floor if you can, and just push it back. So that's your easy version. Again, arms wherever they help you. If that's too easy, we're going to start to tip and extend, stretching out through the front body. Okay, and then straighten up as we come up. We reach back for that right foot or right trousers. We grab the foot, so we're pushing the hips forwards, checking that your hips stay level, so you're not hitching up. We want to keep our hips even as much as we can. And then if you want to go deeper into this, we just add that little fold. Okay, slowly back up, changing legs. So shift your weight into your right leg. Left leg, either simple knee. Grab your toe, extend, chest is lifted. Okay, take it down, start to push it back. So again, easy version, you're just pressing it straight back, firing up that glute. A little bit harder. We tip, we extend. Slowly coming up. So as we come up, we reach back for that left foot. Either hold it here, or again, if it's easy, you're going to tip. And if you're kind of halfway between the two, you know, this is too easy, that's too much of a challenge, try the harder version. But think, oh, I'm going to lean onto something. Yeah, I did that on purpose, by the way. You're going to reach for something. So either fold onto a chair or a wall. So it gives you the sense of doing the full pose. Yeah, and once you feel safe, you can then really think about opening and getting that stretch. Takes away that balance element, takes away that fear. So sometimes it's nice to take that have that safety net there, have a chair or a table or a wobbly mirror to hold on to. Okay, come back up, shake everything loose. Right, so we're going to finish with abs. We're just going to do longboat to finish off with. So come down onto your mat slowly. If you can, come down without using hands. Stretch, or just hug your knees up first and then stretch them to the bottom of your mat. Right, so longboat, it's a kind of static hold where we're trying to really target this whole front line. So we're working particularly into these lower abs, but you're going to feel it kind of upper body as well. You might feel it a little bit in your obliques. But we'll start easy and I'll show you the harder version if you want. It's static lift, static hold, so you're going to hold as long as you comfortably can. If you need to come out sooner, that's fine. But just feel that you're squared, so your hips and shoulders are level. Relax the head. Drop your arms alongside you with your palms down. And just flex your feet so your toes are pointing up to the ceiling. First bit, all we're going to do, we're going to take a deep breath in. And as we exhale, we're going to start to lift the head. So I'm looking down my body towards my feet. And I'm going to start to slide my hands alongside my hips, reaching towards my knees if I can. So I'm peeling my upper back off the ground. And just by doing that, you should feel it in these upper abs. Yeah, you're going to feel it here. If that's enough, that's all you're going to do. If that's easy, abs engage lower belly, pelvic floor. And we're going to see if we can float our legs up. Not too high. If they come up too high, your hip flexors will take control. We want to try and keep it low so it's here that we're working. And then finally, if that's still too easy, we're going to open our palms up and we're going to reach them back. Just looking up to the ceiling so arms are hovering. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Breathe however you can. I know it's hard to breathe in this pose. Okay, and then come out slow. So drop the legs, rest the head, drop your shoulders, have a little fidget. Okay, and just hug your knees back up. Okay, so I'm going to finish this with a quick relaxation. So if you want, if you've got access to a wall or a chair or a sofa, you can do an inverted version, just a bit more energizing. So you're just going to sweep your legs straight up, have a shift, feel that you've got your weight even across your upper back. Arms can either flop out to the side, they can go straight behind the head, or you can just rest them on the belly. If you don't want to do the inverted version, obviously if you've got any issues, head issues, neck issues, etc., and you don't want to do inverted poses, you're just going to do corpse pose, just completely straight, lying flat. But close your eyes, take a few huge breaths, like we did at the beginning. Really exaggerate this movement. Feel your ribs open and close. Feel your belly rise and fall. Okay, let your knees soften. Start to feel your thigh muscles just melt off the bones. Squeeze and relax your bum. Feel your glute muscles, your bum muscles just soften. Sink into the belly. So as you breathe out, just feel your pelvic belly relax, feel your pelvic floor relax. Back body, so back of your rib cage, shoulders should just feel heavy. Give your elbows a bit of a shake, wiggle your wrists. Rock your head, just relax your neck, find your neutral. And then scrunch up your face and let it go. So we're just trying to get rid of any expression. We want to feel that our facial muscles are kind of melting outwards. We'll just take a minute here. So breathing easy, visualizing loads of energy coming in as you breathe in. All the tension and stress just melts away as you breathe out. Okay, start to wiggle your fingers and toes, move your hands, loosen your wrists. Take a big breath in, arms are going to stretch back. And then relax your upper body. Start to bend your knees and just walk your feet up towards you. So you can hug your knees, bring them up to the chest. Take your time, especially if you've been extended up the wall, but start to move over onto your side. And then from there, we're going to come up really slow. Just push yourself up to your seated position. Right, now because we've done quite a bit of work downward dog and plank today, just give your wrists a quick release. So thumb and middle finger around the crease of the wrist joint, you're just going to squeeze, shake out the hand. Just gets rid of that compression that we can sometimes build up when we're doing these weight-bearing poses. So do that both sides. And then finishing with 2 big breaths. Inhale, arms are going to come up. Exhale, come down. And again, big inhale. And release. Brilliant, guys. Thank you very much. Namaste. I hope you've enjoyed the session. And do send me messages, anything that you'd like to see for next week's session. Have a great weekend. Thanks, guys.